here with Employee Wellness, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about mental wellness with Timi Smart. She is a licensed clinical social worker here at Nashville General Hospital, and I'm so excited to have her with me today to chat a little bit about mental wellness. Welcome, Timi.
Thank you.
And before we get started with some tools that you can use to check your mental wellness, Timi has her own weight loss success story that she's going to share with us.
Well, back when I had my last child, many years ago, I had postpartum depression. And so I gained like 80 pounds in 3 months. And so it was really difficult, but I went ahead and I got on antidepressants, and I also went to a therapist for some support. And I had a good support system anyway to help me with the kids and housework and things that I just couldn't physically do at 320 pounds, being 5'1". So that was depressing enough in itself. So in order to get out of that, I found a faith-based weight loss program that had like an accountability partner. I weighed in weekly, and then just the support of a group of people that were doing the same thing. And we learned how I wait for my stomach to totally empty out, be growling, which I didn't even know I could growl. and and then I would just cut my meals in half. I lost like 165 pounds in 18 months. My whole personality changed. And I didn't have to stay on the medication anymore because I learned how to think differently and replace the negative thoughts for positive thoughts, how to be thankful and grateful for all that I had instead of how hard I had it. And victim mentality will keep you in such a depression to where you can't get out. But if you see yourself as a survivor versus a victim, that's part of cognitive behavioral therapy. We teach that, and staying in the moment, those types of things. So I practiced everything, and then I went on and became a therapist later to help others to do the same thing. And so I guess, I put some weight back on, and I've lost 80 this last year.
Okay.
So I have about 60 to go. So, I stopped doing it, which you can't. It's got to be a lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle.
So I'm so grateful to know that now. I feel like there won't be as much of a temptation for me to ever veer off of this. So, and it's such a happier life to have the energy and be able to run up and down the stairs and just all sorts of fun things. We have a lot of places to walk around here.
You mentioned the importance that your faith was important, finding a therapist that you could connect with, and also a support group, and we encourage support in our program. Workout buddies, people that have a workout buddy, it's been proven that they're more successful with their exercise when they have somebody holding them accountable. So you mentioned all of those things in your story.
One other thing was the medication.
Yeah.
An antidepressant or whatever you might need. It's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about. And not always do you have to stay on it forever. It's just to get you up to a level to where you can start being motivated again to do what you need to do.
We focus a lot on self-care in our program, finding out, first of all, what you like to do. A lot of times people don't even know what brings them joy, what is something that they can do for themselves. So we focus a lot on self-care. And I would like you to tell me in a couple of ideas on mental wellness, like what can we do in addition to self-care with mental wellness to make ourselves feel better.
Accept who you are. You have to accept who you are in your own skin. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to work through some things from the past to accept who you are today. And maybe just some of the things like staying in the moment, where you're focused in the here and now, not in the past, not fearful for the future, but just today. And looking at some of the positive qualities that you have that maybe other people have mentioned to you. If you don't believe it yourself, yet. Just, or maybe ask someone, is there any positive qualities that you see in me? And because we're usually blind to that, we see all the negative things in ourselves. Sometimes we tend to lean the negative side. And so I think flipping things and always finding something positive to replace the negative with is really what cognitive behavioral therapy is. Cognitive behavioral therapy teaches you how to stay in the moment and look at the positive in your life and the things to be thankful and grateful for. That helps you stay in a good space to where you can have a sense of wellness physically and mentally. And it truly, if you don't have your mental health and your brain health in order, it affects your heart, it affects every part of your body. And you can't exercise, you can't get motivated to do anything, eat correctly or whatever, if you're not getting your mental health straight first. So I think, of course, we're alongside of it if you can do both. But it's really important to focus on your mental health and working with changing your behaviors. And then you always, like I said, you have to replace whatever the negative behavior was with something positive. So let's say, people that want to quit smoking, so that they can exercise better and breathe better, you've got to replace it with something else. So whether it's a new activity or hobby, support groups, there's just so many things to keep your mental health going.
It goes back to that support, the support groups, the support person, the workout buddy. And I encourage finding gratitude, finding the positive. So it's just very linked into a well-being practice. And like Timi said, ask somebody else, ask a friend. It's good to hear positive, and it's good to say positive to others. When you notice something that you like about somebody, compliment them. It makes them feel good. It puts positive out there from you. Give me a couple of examples. You talked a little bit about behavior therapy, and tell me if that is a tool that maybe we could use to help us stay mentally well.
Some people just have a tendency, maybe because of trauma in their lives or just their personality, might tend to lean more on the glass half empty instead of half full. So, changing your perspective isn't easy because you take every thought and you have to consider that thought. Is that a positive thought or a negative thought? It takes a lot of work. If you have a lot of thoughts in 10 minutes that come through, and you're stopping every thought that's negative and replacing it with a positive one, it's harder than working out in a gym. It's a mental workout, but it's necessary. Then it becomes a habit eventually. So you're changing your whole habits. And self-care, it sounds selfish. And most people that are caregivers or want to help others, you feel guilty for doing self-care. But just going for a walk, enjoying, we have a beautiful atrium here. Just see the pretty flowers around. I'll walk by here and just look at each flower and just kind of, it just gives me a mental health break.
And it helps you to appreciate the present.
It does.
And where you are in the present and what's around you and finding the positive. It's very important.
And to be able to have mental wellness, healing the things that has maybe caused you to be in a state of not good mental health, to get back into good mental health. Sometimes it just takes, just a few weeks to a few months at the most. Some people think you have to be in therapy for years and years. If you do, I'm concerned about the therapist because, really shouldn't take years and years. Even with the very worst trauma that anyone could ever imagine, abuse of any kind, you truly can walk through that and start at the here and now and say where you want to go, and you can find ways to get there and yet heal during the process from the past a little bit. But you don't have to go re-traumatize and dig everything up and go through all that pain again unless it's just absolutely necessary, and we do that as needed. But, truly you can just start changing behaviors, and that changes your whole chemistry of your brain. It adds more serotonin and dopamine and all those wonderful things that make us feel happy and good.
Right. So replacing the negative with the positive, looking as our glass is half full versus half empty, and being a survivor, not a victim, is what I've heard you say. And Timi has a couple of resources.
I'm always here to encourage our employees and support. Sometimes you just have a bad day, just need to vent for 5 minutes. I'm there. And so I've gotten to make a lot of sweet friends here at our hospital already. And then we have really, truly for therapy, I am hired really more for the patients because we have a wonderful EAP program that's through HR.
And that's the Employee Assistance Program.
Yes, thank you. Yes, and so you can contact HR. If you want to be more private about it, contact me. I'll give you the phone number and the card to contact them. And they keep it confidential. They use numbers. They don't even bill with your name on it, so it's very confidential.
It's free to the employees. It's a great resource we have here at Nashville General Hospital.
And there's a health and wellness section to it, too. They have a health and wellness area on Cigna on your app. There's all of that in there, too. So there's so many good supportive things through our EAP.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Timi. I appreciate you. And remember, health is well.